The Global Latin Factor Podcast.
Welcome you and all to another episode of the Global Latin Factor Podcast, where we talk about, say it with me, Latino everything. That's right. Thank you very much for being here. Hope you're enjoying another episode, and make sure that you do not miss a second of the times we release new episodes by subscribing, ringing the bell, subscribing, ringing the bell again. You're already here watching the video. Just go down there, boop, boop, and voila. You're subscribed, ready to go, so you won't miss an episode. You have noticed that a lot of people that watch the episodes don't subscribe, and that's very sad because you are doing us a big favor. You're helping us a lot. You don't understand the small gesture of you already watching the episode, just going down there, click, click, yeah. That's it. Voila. You're getting more episodes of the Global Latin Factor Podcast. We are closing in on almost 2 years on air, putting in episodes. So again, thank you all for the ones that already supported. And if you are on audio, and if you're already listening, then you already know you can always follow us, give us feedback, rate us, give us a grade, and we appreciate the ones that are also on audio. If you're ever curious to know what the visual looks like, we shoot it in 4K. You can always go to the YouTube channel. We are very easy to find. We were one of the blogs did a listing of the best 100 Latino podcasts, and yours truly had made the list at 56, but recently, as of November 22nd, the list was updated, and now we are 35, if I'm not mistaken, 35. So that's with the help of every single one of y'all. They are on TikTok, on Instagram, on here, on YouTube, and Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to us. Pandora, big shout out going out to the people in Pandora. They're really putting in the numbers, and I appreciate it very much. It does help us. You wouldn't believe how much it does help us. And the fact that you're already here, just go down with your finger and bloop, bloop, and here we go. We are good to go. All right. This time we bring you another solo episode, and we're going to go ahead and bring you this amazing Latina. So you're ready. If you want to know about an artist and a very, very important person that's doing a lot for the community as far as Latino and bringing awareness of history of Latinos, you want to stay tuned because you're going to know about both of these individuals that made a difference. Joan Baez, or Joan Chandos Baez, was born on January 9, 1941. It's a Latina Mexican American singer, songwriter, pacifist, musician, actor, record producer, activist, and her contemporary folk music often includes songs that are protests and also address social justice. Baez has performed publicly for guess how many? Over 60 years, releasing more than, guess how many? 30 albums. Fluent in Spanish and English, she has been recording all these songs, but she also has records that she's recorded in 6 other languages. 6 other languages. Baez is generally regarded as folk singers, but her music is very diverse. You don't necessarily have to just like that type of music. Since the counterculture era of 1960, and she has encompassed genres such as rock, pop, country, and gospel music. She began her career recording in 1960 and achieved immediate success. Yes, immediately shortly after she recorded, that's what she did. Now, she does have her first 3 albums, which is Joan Baez Volume 2, and Joan Baez in Concert, all achieved gold record status. Now, if you know a little about music, gold record, back in the days, pretty difficult. She got it. Although a songwriter herself, Baez had generally interpreted other composers' work. Can you guess what kind of artist she has recorded? Okay, let me tell you. The Allman Brothers Band, the Beatles, Jackson Browne, Leonard Cohen, Woody Guthrie, Violeta Parra, and the Rolling Stones. Also, Peter Seeger, Paul Simon, Stevie Wonder, Bob Marley, and many more. Those were some of the ones she has interpreted as far as not her own, but even though she does write. Now, she was one of the first major artists to record the songs of Bob Dylan in the early 1960s. She was already an internationally known and celebrated artist, and she did, pretty much helped a lot to popularize his as far as the songwriting early in his efforts. Now, on her late albums, you can find her and find some success with some of the more recent writers at that time. So she has interpreted other songwriters' songs more recent, including Ryan Adams, Josh Ritter, Steve Early, Natalie Merchant, and Joe Henry. Those are just some to name a few. Now, a little bit more about her. She was born in Staten Island, New York, as I mentioned earlier, on January 9, 1941. Her grandfather was the Reverend Alberto Baez. Yeah, that was her grandfather, who left the Catholic Church to become a Methodist minister. So he had left the Catholic Church to do that and moved to the U.S. when Baez's father was only 2 years old. Yep. Her father, Albert Baez, which lived from 1912 to 2007, was born in Puebla, Mexico. Now, she was already a global star when she met Bob Dylan in 1961. She played a big role in helping him launch his career. So this is one of the ones contributed to. Later, she dated Steve Jobs, who happened to be a huge fan of Bob Dylan. She was 41 and Jobs was 27. Now, I don't know if you know that, and Google told me this, so if it's not right, let me know. She sang about freedom and civil rights everywhere from the backyard of flat trucks all the way to the steps of, yeah, all the way to the step of Lincoln's Memorial with Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King's march. Yep, she was part of that march. And she was there in Washington in 1963 singing, again, very active. Joanne dedicated her first album song entitled, as far as the song itself, the music, which is in Spanish, for the suffering in Chile, from the people in Chile. They were under the rule of Augusto Pinochet, a record that inspired Linda Ronstadt later in the 1980s, where she began recording her Spanish song about her heritage. So Baez dedicated her album to the Chilean people suffering from Pinochet. One of the songs Joanne sang on that album was No Nos Moveremos, We Shall Not Move. And it was banned. That record was banned from being sang in Spain for more than 40 years. Yep. Generalissimo Franco's rule during that time did not accept the record being played or even copies being made of the LP or even sold there. Joanne first became the first major artist to sing the song publicly when it was performed at a very controversial TV appearance and the appearance itself was in Madrid in 1977, and that was after the dictator Pinochet had passed away. So she sang that. And some of the awards that she has gotten as far as achievement: Grammy Lifetime Achievement Award in 2007, the Kennedy Center Honors, that's another award that she has won, and that's in 2021. Latin Grammy Lifetime Award, that's another one. Or Latin Grammy Lifetime Achievement Award, that's the other one that she won in 2019. And also the Independent Music Award for Best Song, and that's a cover in 2016. One Way Ticket. That's some of the awards that she has won and she's been part of, and she sang. And it's amazing to me that the fact that she was able to, even though she knew how to write a song, she didn't really did that as much. She preferred to interpret some of the songs. And even though some people want to put her in a box as far as folk music, her music slowly started to change and then she became something different. And one of the things, to me, what would be the lesson on her as far as her life would be like, well, you can do whatever you want to as far as like the music itself. You don't necessarily have to be labeled, and to be part of Bob Dylan's launching of his career. It's just amazing. And even though she did write, she decided to sing other people. So, there's nothing wrong. And not to mention, she was active. She was an activist during all this time, and doing different things, participating with, Martin Luther King Jr. and all that. That's, definitely active as far as human rights goes. So, yeah, I mean, you can just be like her as well. This is one of the amazing Latinas that we have as far as the history and music and different things like that. If I don't know if you ever heard of her, but she's one of the ones to look up to as far as if you're an inspired songwriter, if you're an activist, and different things like that. Joan Baez is one of the ones to look into, to for inspiration as far as how much more can you go to. Now, moving on to the next one, we have El Señor John Leguizamo. John Leguizamo, or John Alberto Leguizamo Peláez, was born in July 22nd, 1960, in Bogota, Colombia. Is a Colombian actor, comedian, film producer. He rose to fame in a co-starring role. What movie? What movie do you think it was? Super Mario Bros. In 1993 as Luigi, and a supporting role in the crime drama Carlitos Way, 1993 also. That movie was really good. He was a child, when he was a child, he was an immigrant when he got here to the United States, similar to some of us. He was raised in Queens, New York. Yeah, that's where he was raised, and attended the New York University and studied under the legendary acting coach Lee Strasberg only for one day. Why would you say he only studied for one day? Unfortunately, Mr. Strasberg passed away shortly after he had joined. He attended also the Joseph Pulitzer Middle School, and also Murray Bergstraum High School. He began his theater career at NYU Tisch School of Arts, but eventually he dropped out to pursue a career in, guess what? Stand-up comedy. Yes. He he also took theater classes at LIU Post. He was once arrested for truancy and once for hopping a subway turnstile. So I don't know where he was jumping. Anyways, in order to straighten him up after he was arrested and doing all that, he was sent to Colombia for a year, where he continued his mischief. He did not act right even then. And he also attended a local acting school there, which he funded by working at a Kentucky Fried Chicken. So that's how he funded his, at that time, what he wanted to study. Leguizamo started working at the comedy club circuit in New York. And if you know it's New York, it's tough. And first appeared in front of the cameras in a small episode of Miami Vice. Guess what year? 1984. His first film appearance was a small part in Mixed Blood in 1984, and he had a minor role in Casualty of War in 1989 and Die Hard 2 in 1990. Before playing a liquor store thief, he was the one that shot Harrison Ford regarding Harry in 1992. So he's been doing small roles ever since that he got started. His career also started soar after his first performance in the independent film Hanging with the Homeboys in 1991 as a nervous young teenager from the Bronx. So making it to New York is really tough, as from what I hear. Some of the awards that he has received are the Golden Glove nominee, or he has been nominated, for Best Supporting Actor for his performance in Tu Wong Fu. Thank You for Everything, and Julie Newman in 2008. He won a Rita Moreno Hola Award. That is an Excellence for Latino award for excellence for the Hispanic Organization of Latin Actors, which is the Hola. That's what it stands for. In 2011, he was given the Name in NY Award for New York City. So that's another one that he had received. Now, there's different things that he has done. It's amazing. His performance in the play Class Clown, which was about his own path to stardom, won him the Outer Critics Circle Award for, guess what? Guess what? The Outstanding Solo Performance, and also the Drama Desk Award for, I guess, I'm waiting for you to guess. uh, Outstanding Performance also as solo. He's been man, he's been in so many movies, not even funny. As far as the ones that I've seen, the ones Carlitos Way that they mentioned, that one's been one. And I don't recall him on Mario Bros. I don't know if you do, but I don't recall him immediately. But I'm pretty sure that I have to look at it again too. And it's been plenty other ones. He has a special called Latino History for Morons, which is a one-man show in Broadway. So he's in Broadway as well. And again, it's just him and the heartbreak of that he has experienced, and learning and tracing back 3,000 years of Latino history in efforts to help his son that was being bullied. And it's all him himself. It's one-man show. If you've never seen that special, you need to go check it out. It's like, man, it's really good. It's really good. The facts, the books that he dives into, the history, as far as what the parts we've been to, uh, wars we've been part of as Latinos, all the way to the Civil War and all the wars, World War I, World War II. He goes into. I don't want to spoil it, but I would highly recommend to go watch it. Dealing with trauma and just different contributions. And again, before I even launched this, well, actually, shortly after I had launched this, actually, I have watched that. I've seen posts about it, and I knew he had one. And then finally, the special was out, and I looked at it, and I was like, man, this is just very similar to what I am attempting, what I am doing here as far as the Latino culture, uh, in a bigger scale. Of course, Broadway is Broadway, and being on Netflix is being on Netflix, and that's amazing. We need more, and the more we can get, the better. But it's when I seen it, I'm like, there's a lot of similarity as far as the way we present the information. Minimum let you know that they're there and spark your curiosity to go find this. If you have never heard about John, and if you never heard about Joanne, hopefully this inspires you to be like, oh man, let me go check them out, what they're about. Again, if you're an inspiring singer, songwriter, activist, there you go. If you're a woman and you're looking for inspiration, if you're a comedian, try to make it. It's being rough. Not really from this country either. That doesn't matter because he was born in Colombia. Even though he got here young, he's still able to manage, maneuver, do this, do that, and have specials and movies and all kinds of stuff. And the passion that he talks whenever he addresses Latino culture is gold. It's the entire vibe, and I appreciate him for that. Uh, that's why I wanted to do an episode about him. I hope I did him a little bit of justice. But if you don't know who he was, or for whatever reason you never heard of him, man, go check out his special. It's a great laugh. Not to mention you'll be learning at the same time, and it's truly amazing. The final thoughts for him will be like, even though you get in trouble and maybe they want you to do certain things, but you find something that you like and you just keep finding ways to fund it and stick with it. I mean, you don't know where it's going to get you at. And then just to have your own solo special, be on Broadway, be on movies, consistently being named one of the receiving awards for both Joanne and John is amazing. So they're both definitely global Latin factories. Hello, we are quickly jumping in to let you know we hope that you are enjoying the episode. Make sure you hit the subscription, notification, and thank you very much. And now back to the podcast. We are a little behind on what's going on in the world. However, we're going to cover a very special episode today. Remember, once again, subscribe. Say it with me. Subscribe. Comment. Say it with me. Comment. Like. Oh, yeah, you got it. That's what I'm talking about. I don't like pointing. Sorry about that. I don't like pointing. Okay, I'm your host, Crispin Valentin. Welcome to another episode. Thank you for being here. Okay, so we are going to cover today was Hispanic Heritage Month. And we're going to tell you all about that today. And again, we are a little behind because we are recording and we are in the middle of Hispanic Heritage Month. So we're going to tell you all about what's going on. Okay, so Hispanic Heritage o Mes Nacional de la Herencia Hispana. So National Hispanic Heritage Month is a month that is honor of Hispanics, Latinx, American culture, roots, and influences. That's what it covers. Now, each year, Americans observe National Hispanic Heritage Month from September 15 to October 15 by celebrating the history, culture, contribution of the American citizens whose ancestors came from Spain, Mexico, Caribbean, Central, and South America. That is what is celebrated. So if you've heard, you're wondering what is going on, that's what it is. September 15 was chosen as the starting point of the star because it is the anniversary of the Cry of Dolores early morning, 16 September 1810, which marked the start of Mexican War of Independence and thus resulted in 1821 in independence for New Spain colony, now Mexico and Central America nations of Guatemala, El Salvador, Costa Rica, Honduras, and Nicaragua, which became the Federal Republic of Central America. Also, Columbus Day, Dia de la Raza, which is October 12, falls within this 30-day period. The observation started in 1868 as Hispanic Heritage Week under President Lyndon Johnson and was expanded by President Ronald Reagan in 1988 to cover a 30-day period starting in September 15 and ended in October 15, as we mentioned earlier. Hispanic Week has been established in legislation and it was sponsored by Edward R. Raybaugh of Los Angeles and was signed into law by President Lyndon Johnson in 1968. In 1988, the commemorable week was expanded to a month from September 15, as we mentioned earlier, to October 15, sponsored by Representative Esteban Edward Torres, a Democrat, California, amended by Senator Paul Simmons, and signed into law by President Ronald Reagan. It was enacted into law on August 17, 1988, in the approval of the Public Law 100-401. You can find out more information by visiting www.hispanicheritagemonth.gov. hispanicheritagemonth.gov. A few events that happen during this time annually. The annual Northwest Arkansas Hispanic Heritage Festival is held in Fayetteville, Arkansas. It started in 2013 by the Chamber of Commerce. The El Barrio Latin Jazz Festival in Bronx, New York, and is held annually September to coincide with Hispanic Heritage Month. One event is the Zoo Fiesta in 2018. The Smithsonian Natural Museum of the American Indian hosted the Realm of Jaguar, a series of performance featured dances from Bolivia, Mexico, Guatemala, in addition to mask making and traditional contemporary ceramics. Now, the Hispanic Family Festival is held annually in Springdale Park in Springdale. You can check that one out in Massachusetts. Also, the official Latino Short Film Festival began in 2015. Now, this is a very short, so if you're ever wondering about Hispanic heritage, what does it cover, what does it entail, when did it start? This is the whole, hopefully Google doesn't, I'm going to keep saying it. I'm never going to forget Google for letting me down with Bad Bunny. However, you can always check the website for more information. The one we mentioned, we are going to go ahead and put that website also in the description, so where you visit and figure out what's going on. This is based on the government as far as the information that you can go and check it out, what they have lined up for that year. So this is going to be pre-recorded, so it's going to be for 2023, so you can inform yourself of what happens at Hispanic Heritage Month. Well, there you have it. That's what happens. And El Mes Nacional de la Herencia Hispana. El Mes Nacional de la Herencia Hispana. And throughout the entire U.S., there's different things that are going on, celebrating what we have accomplished. And there's so many Latinos, Hispanics that have done many fabulous, amazing, and continue to do amazing things. So if you're ever curious of what is this, why, this and that, well, there you have it. There's a reason why they do it, when it was adopted into law, who made the changes, and more information where you can find the information at. So make sure that you go check it out, be informed. If you want to go celebrate, be part of it. And again, we appreciate you. This was a very brief episode. However, we want to get this information out to you. Even though there's different videos, go check them out too. Give them some views, give them some likes too. And we thank you once again. This was another episode of the Global Latin Factor podcast. Subscribe to the channel. So go leave us a comment. We appreciate the ones. If you're on audio only, you can always find us on YouTube. You can always find all our social media. If you want a shirt, a beautiful shirt that has the Latino on it, go find out the website. Go check out the website, www.thegloballatinfactor.com, thegloballatinfactor.com, and get some of the beautiful merch sent to your house directly. We appreciate you. Once again, this was another episode of the Global Latin Factor podcast. Remember, we are the spice in this melting pot that it is the world. Until next time. Thank you very much for checking out another episode of the Global Latin Factor podcast. Make sure you go and subscribe to the channel. You are very important, and it means a lot to us whenever you go and subscribe and hit the bell so you can get notifications whenever we have new episodes. It really does truly mean a lot to us. Thank you very much.
De la Vigo, walks like a pero but in fact is a flamingo. Coming to Havana and reach from Puerto Rico on a pirate ship, you don't know where do we go. The birds of the jungle chasing fortune and fame, but who are